Hello and welcome to Black Voices, a podcast where we explore the stories, experiences, and identities of Black individuals living in Japan. I'm your host, Kate Brown, and I'm so excited to launch the sixth episode with someone who is not only an amazing guest, but also a close friend of my father. Glenn, thank you so much for joining me. It truly means a lot. To start off, could you introduce yourself a little bit about your background?
No, first, Kate, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, just a little bit about me. Um, I am kind of a military brat. So I was a military brat. My father was in the Air Force. I was born in Germany, raised in England. So I didn't actually come to the United States until about third grade. And then from there, I went through high school. I went to college, wrestled in college, and then I joined ROTC. So I was in the military for about 25 plus years. And then I recently retired in the military in around 2018, and came back to Japan because I was here. I was here for 5 years from 2008 to 2000 no, 2006 to 2011. I was here before on active duty. And then when I retired, I decided to come back to Japan because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great place to raise my family because I had a young family, and so we're here. But no, I just enjoy being in Japan.
That's great. Thank you. So first off, starting off with the question, in what ways has Japan and living in Japan influenced on how you understand or see your own culture or identity compared to like, I guess, Germany or America where you've lived?
Really, I can't say there's a real difference. Again, so like I said, as a child, I was used to being overseas. So it's not like, it was my first time being overseas. So I was used to being overseas. And I spent most of my military career of the 25 plus years, I spent 19 overseas. So, coming to Japan was, it's just it was a different country, yes, but it was something I was used to. I understood that, now I'm here as an ambassador to the United States. I understand, I have to conduct myself a certain way. But what I did like, I think about being here in Japan is I really enjoyed the security of Japan. And again, now. I say that because obviously, most of my time have been on military bases, and so it's a little semi-culture within the culture, and so I'm not real, I can't say I am a well versed in everything that happens in Japan. I know there's crime and things like that, but no, I've enjoyed that. Having my kids here has been a blessing. And so my boys were born in Japan. So we brought them back to Japan, so where they wanted to come. And now they're about to finish high school. And my oldest son will start college here. And so I haven't lost my identity as an American citizen. I understand that I am American in Japan, but I realize that I'm not an honor, probably a privilege to be able to have the be an American living overseas in a place like that. And I really appreciate it.
That's interesting. Which state are you from in the States?
My mother is from Oklahoma, and my father is from Florida, so I've kind of bounced back be between the two.
Mm.
And so, so I'm down south in Florida, and then up in the Midwest in Oklahoma. So I finished high school in Oklahoma,
Oh,
and then I went to a junior college in Oklahoma, and then I went up and graduated college out in Colorado before
okay.
joining the military.
It's very interesting. Um, Can you share any experiences in Japan that helped you grow or strengthen your sense of yourself, or just like kind of any experiences you've had here?
Well, again, a lot of my experiences, have been on the military base, but a lot of them also have been in a professional environment. When I was here in Japan, I worked with the Army headquarters, and I had to interact with the Japanese, the Japanese military, and so part of that is, you get a chance to go out and interact with in the Japanese culture as well, because you have multicultural events, and I tell you, I was, understanding that and experiencing that for me is just that was enlightening, I guess, because we have Japanese employees that work on the military base, and if you stay on the military base, basically, yeah, you can do. We have everything on the base, but to go out into the culture. Now, I'll tell you, I was really interested in the culture as a young man because there was a movie I saw. I think the title is Rising Sun with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes. And if you haven't seen it, you just go back and take a look at that. But what that told me about the Japanese culture, and it's a movie about, and kind of the gist is that the Japanese have a long-term thinking technology in their or thinking concept. And the whole movie was the Japanese were always one step ahead of Westerners in that. So it was pretty good. So that gave me the hey interest. You know what? I wouldn't mind going to Japan and seeing the culture.
Mm. Sorry, what's the movie title again? I think I'm interested now.
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun. Okay.
Yeah, so Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes. And I mean, this is I mean,
Oh, Wesley
like,
Snipes. Oh,
yeah.
oh
So
yeah.
I'd say it's either a late 80s, early 90s.
Mm. Movies back then were good. I mean, I
Yeah.
like movies myself, and I personally like the old ones better than the modern ones. I think there's more
Yeah.
um personality to it. But have you, I guess it's kind of self-explanatory because you were spending most of the time in the base, but like outside of the base, have you been able to like find connections or community with other Black individuals, maybe like not related to the military or
Um, I say that I mean, outside of the base, obviously, we have our community here, so I haven't really.
Mm,
Now, I do have some friends. I do have some friends that have married, like your father,
mm,
who have married Japanese nationals, and we can meet with them, and we do certain activities and things like that. But mainly, I won't say that there's mainly the military installation because we here in this area in Kanagawa, you've got three big military installations, one Army, one
mm,
Air Force, and one Navy, and so there's a lot of events and activities you can do. Now, my family, we do like to travel, so we've traveled a lot here in Japan, and taking the opportunity to do that because it was one of the things that again, growing up, on a military base and growing up as a military dependent, I wanted to impress that, I guess that love of travel on my sons.
mm.
And prior to coming back to Japan this time, like I said, we were in Germany for 5 years and we traveled all over Europe. And so the first time, like I said, we left here, I want to say they were 3 and 4, so we didn't much travel. And so when we came back, they were older in elementary school. And so, yeah, we've had the opportunity to travel all over Japan.
Oh, that must be nice. Yeah. Um, I'm because there's like so much going on with like, the military and the Navy, I guess, in Kanagawa. I'm guessing like a lot of Japanese people who live there are also very aware of that. But have you like, I guess, encountered some misunderstandings or kind of like, I don't know, like times where you kind of like kind of stepped out of yourself and like think about that incident and like, I don't know, just went about your day or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you this. So, because when I think about some of the questions, people use the term Black culture, and you gotta be careful about that because there's that's African American culture, Caribbean culture, African culture, and things of that nature. And so, and a lot of times, I've been in situations where people can stereotype you. They don't know who you are, and sometimes they get wrapped up into this thing called hip hop culture.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And so, now granted, like I said, I went to college in the 80s, when
mm.
hip hop is, I was 16 years old in 1980, so I was like, hip hop was just getting started. So I love hip hop, not gonna lie. Old school hip hop, yeah, it's still on my playlist. But I think this situation of what people have a concept of hip hop culture has kind of spread the world. And sometimes, I've had a couple of incidents where, someone was with me in a way that, hey, dude, no.
Mm,
You need to approach me in a professional manner, you know what I'm saying? And let's do this. So and part of it sometimes I like to be relaxed in my dress.
mm,
And so that may have, thought that may have given that person the impression, but no, I was, like, hey, dude, we need to relax for a second. All right, let's articulate. I don't speak a lot of Japanese, but I do know enough that, hey, and you can kind of tell,
mm,
having in many different cultures in many different countries, you can kind of tell when someone's kind of disrespecting you. And so I've had, not many, very few, probably level, but it has happened.
mm. I understand. In relation to the previous question, like, I guess what kind of representations do you see of Black culture identity through Japanese media? Or like, I guess hip hop is one of them, but yeah, do you notice any kind of other things as well within Japanese media specifically? Because I feel like it's one of the biggest platforms nowadays for young and older generations.
Right. Honestly, I can't really
Mm,
intelligently on Japanese media, because again, I don't see a lot of it. Um, I, I to give you a real answer on that, because most of the media, obviously we have our own news channel and media channels in US, and I'm not a social media person, and so I'm not there. So besides what my two sons in high school, yeah, yeah. Besides that, I'm not real versed on that, so I really couldn't give you a real intellectual answer. But
yeah, no worries. Yeah, I understand.
yeah,
Um, Can you share like a memorable or like a uplifting moment you've experienced while living in Japan? Like maybe I guess you said the security and the safety part, but like I guess because you like traveling, like culture differences or like because like Japan's very I think isolated in a good way that people say it's a bubble. Like I feel like it's just very different to the other countries. Um so like was there
I've got a great example of that. So
mm,
I was here doing the March 2011 incident where the nuclear for the nuclear power plant at Fukushima, I think. I was here for that, and I was working on the military staff and the U.S. military. We were, of course, to provide support and assistance to the people in that area, and I know we had guys that were going in, providing, whether it was cots, trying to put up, tents and shelter, providing food. And I'll tell you this, one thing that just impressed me so much was I saw a news article, and this was media, it was news, and they showed the Japanese population standing in line patiently to
oh
receive, obviously, the goods and services. I mean, this was a major disaster, and people were just patiently standing in line, waiting for their turn to receive the support they were given. And when we saw that, I was with a group of guys, and we were looking at that like, wow. Now, take that, flip that to what happened in the United States. So when we look at Hurricane Katrina and you hear about all the looting and all
mm,
the things that were happening, and you see something like that, it was just mass chaos in the United States. But to be able to look and understand that, this is the Japanese culture. This
mm,
is how they are. And so I think part of that went back to the United States, and my family had called me. I think CNN had shown some of that as well. And I'm like, yes, this is that culture. Now, granted, obviously that was 2011, and everybody say, "Oh yeah, but the younger generation." No, I think Japan still has that discipline, and that level of patience in their culture. And that's one of I mean, really for me, that
mm,
was one of the things that had just had a major impression on me.
mm. I understand. Yeah, I think it's crazy. I remember my mom telling me that story,
Hmm.
like about I think within myself being like a mixed race person, I also kind of dwelled upon like the differences of like Japanese culture and like I guess African American culture. And one of the things that I guess because my mom's Japanese, she told me about
Mhm.
the, discipline and resilience and like, um, you know, there's a lot of ways to be right, like to do the right thing. So yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, I think it's really interesting as well, just overall. But yeah, coming to the last question, in what I mean, yeah, I guess this is kind of based off of your Navy or like the Air Force experience, but in what ways do you feel your presence or contributions have had a positive impact on your community here in Japan?
Well, I'll tell you. So, okay, first of all, so I was in the army. And let me if your
Army,
dad
sorry.
understand
Mm,
straight. Now get that straight. No, I'm
sorry.
just-
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep getting mixed up with my
no,
father.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. My father was in the Air Force.
Mm,
So I wasn't here. And my father for a long
mm,
time. He tried to clown me for joining the army. You know what I'm saying? But no, but no. Quite a few things we do here. Like I said, I for one. Was brought up with, hey, you need to give back. You need to do something.
mm,
And so I've had the opportunity now within, again, my past years within the United States military. I've been able to coach wrestling at the high school level for, I'm going on, I think, my 24th year now.
mm,
And that's, but what that has done is also is interesting over here is um, that allows you to interact with the Japanese culture. We have the Dodiya schools, and they have obviously wrestling programs, but then there are some pros that are Christian Academy in Japan, American School in Japan, St. Mary's, and some other, and so they also compete. And then what they have to do is the officiate wrestling are Japanese, and so I've had the opportunity to befriend any of those guys, and because it's a common bond of wrestling. So um, with that, I think that giving back and investing my time. Besides what I've just got re-engaged with the fraternity
mm,
and understand that, but I think for me, that's one of the things that I try to. It was impressed on me as at a young age, and I'm trying to impress upon my boys as well as, excuse me, the importance of volunteering and doing something to try to help, because I was some gaps in my story. I was a troubled kid, I guess. And so my high school wrestling coach, helped me and assisted me, and there's a lot of folks have assisted me along the way, and so you always want to either pay it forward or at least give back, and the opportunity to do that, and I've done a few things, like I said, even in Japan, with some of the schools that we've been to, and once my boys, I'm sitting on the piano right here, so my boys played piano for about, man, 10, 11 years, and
oh,
so
wow.
they had the opportunity to go out and play at Chinese schools. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And so didn't do that. So we've tried to be good citizens. I try to teach my boys to be productive citizens in any society that they're in. But I think that's one of the things for me is to volunteer my time.
mm. That's beautiful, honestly. Thank you. But yeah, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you, Glenn, so much for sharing your story and wisdom. It's such a privilege, honestly, to have you as my one of my guests on my podcast. And also thank you everyone for listening. I hope you found today's conversation meaningful, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Black Voices.